Hello friends, my name is Miss Emily and today we are going to do the December Your Library at Home Craft Kit Salt Painting. From the library you will receive some Elmer's glue, this little cute little bottle, 2 little bottles of food coloring, a couple paintbrushes, a few pieces of white cardstock, and you will need to provide some water to rinse off your paintbrush with, some table salt, and shapes on your white cardstock. If you have watercolor, liquid watercolor at home, you can use that for this craft as well. I couldn't find any little bottles of this, and the person who I got this idea from said that you could use watered down food coloring, so that's what I did. But you can also use liquid watercolor if you want as well. And because I am not a good artist, I don't draw very well, I made my shapes on the computer, which maybe is cheating, but you can make your shapes, just draw them freehand, or if you have cookie cutters, this is what I was gonna do if I was at home. If you have cookie cutters, you can trace them and you can do that, or you can just draw whatever you want. It's completely up to you. The first thing we're going to do is trace our shapes with the glue. You want to make sure to use white glue. A glue stick won't work, hot glue won't work, white school glue. And although I did not test it, the person that I got this idea from said you should use Elmer's glue because the knockoff glue won't work. Who knows? That was the case for the bouncy balls. So we'll see if anybody out there wants to try it. Let me know how it goes. But the library gave you Elmer's glue, so use that. Go ahead and trace your shapes. And this is a great activity for fine motor skills, not only for the painting and the drawing, but also the tracing with the glue. So it's fun for older kids and younger kids, really kids of all ages. I made a crescent moon, which my baby calls the broken moon. It's broken. I tried to make a rainbow, but true to computer usage, didn't come out well. So I just made a kind of a half rainbow. And I have noticed as I've just been doing this that sometimes I drag I've been dragging my glue on the paper. Don't do that. So keep it a little off, raised from the paper, and make sure that you get a good amount of glue on there. Lastly, we'll do my heart. All right. So the next thing you're going to want to do is put some salt on this because we are going to paint salt, and the way we get our salt to stick to the paper is to use the glue. You might want to, or your parents might want you to get a little spoon. You could put some salt in the spoon and sprinkle it on. I'm going to go a little crazy and just do it freehand. And of course you're gonna get some salt where it's not supposed to be. Not all on your glue. So get your glue completely covered. And if you wanna do this on a plate or maybe a pan, you can. So then you'll shake off your glue. I'm just gonna use this other sheet of paper that I have laying right here. You want to shake off your glue, so get all that, shake off your paper to get all that extra salt off there. And then I'm just going to reuse that salt to do my crescent moon or my broken moon. but my heart is looking really good so far. And you can use as many colors as you want for your shapes. So again, I'm just gonna take that, and you don't have to do this part if you don't want to. I'm just trying to use the resources of the library wisely. You can use, as I was saying, you can use as many different colors as you want for your shapes. We gave you 2 sheets of paper, but if you have more paper at home, feel free to make as many shapes as you want. Oops, shaking the camera a little bit there. Sorry, my friends. Because you can see it doesn't actually take a lot of salt to get all of your glue covered. You just don't want to use both sides. Don't use the front and the back. All right, we'll shake all of that off. Make sure all of our salt is gone, and that is what your finished product is going to look like with the salt on. Okay, now we are ready to paint our salt and glue. I forgot to add that you need to be gentle when you are shaking your salt off. Don't like shake the paper too crazy. Don't tap the back of it. You just want to gently kind of shake it off like that, like this, so that none of your glue slides or comes off. If you have your watercolor, liquid watercolor at home, you can dilute it with some water to make it a little bit less bright, or if you want to keep it bright, that's fine too. You can dilute the food coloring that we gave you as well to make it more of a watercolor than a food coloring, but you can also try it and see how the different colors look and how diluting it looks compared to non-diluting it. So I have a couple different colors here. I have green and yellow and red and turquoise and purple. So we're gonna start with the turquoise, and then, like I said, you might, unless you're using a lot of different brushes, you might wanna have water handy to dip your brush in to get it, get the color that you are using out if you want to use a new color. So get your color on your brush, and oh yeah, cool. You just touch it to it and it paints it. So I do see though that in places where I got more glue, like right here, that's a blob of glue. It's a fun word, blob. It didn't quite take the paint right there. So that would tell me that I probably need more salt or less glue, whichever way. So I'm gonna rinse off my brush here, and maybe you would need also a paper towel to dry off your brush, because if you've already diluted your, luckily I had a paper towel right behind me. If you've already diluted your paint, you don't want to get it too watery. So let's get some purple. Yeah, very cool. That's neat. This is neat. I can see how it would be very fun, super fun, a lot more fun if you had multiple colors, more colors than just a couple. If you only have the colors that the library gave you, you could do a couple different types. You could try a couple different shades. You could try it with a non-diluted one. You could try it with a diluted one, and that would give you like a light purple and then a dark purple or blue, whichever one you get. So let's see now, excuse me, friends, what it looks like if I take a color and put it next to a color that's already on there. Let's do purple and red. Oh yeah, a little mix at the end, but then you can then it goes into its own color there. I also noticed, in addition to the glob, that I didn't put enough salt on here, because I do really see that that is what picks up the color, is the salt. So maybe you would want to go over one time with your salt and then just go over it again. Like, especially if you had that extra salt in a pan or on another sheet, you could just do another round. Ooh, this kind of looks like a bomb pop. That makes me think of 4th of July in summertime, which is my favorite season. So we're in the opposite of my favorite season here soon, winter. But winter is fun for its own reasons. And I know many of you like snow and sledding and things like that. And this is kind of like, I was able to fill in red on the blue that hadn't quite dried. The glue hadn't quite dried yet, but it dried a little bit as I was painting and talking. And I was able to kind of put some red on the side there. But my blue stayed. Of course, it mixed in the middle, but it didn't completely take over my blue. It's like a tie-dye almost. All right. And as I was saying, so salt painting is kind of like snow painting, except on paper. So that's fun. I know that there was some chalk paint that you could paint snow with, which I thought was a neat idea, except you're never guaranteed with how long it's gonna stay, right? Okay, now I've got some green. I'm gonna paint the rest of my rainbow. Well, I need to leave a little space on my rainbow. I should do all the colors on my rainbow since it's a rainbow, but and here's a little part of the red that didn't take because I can only assume there's not enough salt there. We'll paint that in with green. That's very fun. You know what would be really cool too, which I'm actually disappointed that I didn't do this, is if you do like your initials or your names. That would be a very fun one for little hands to just draw out their first initial, or if they can write all their names, or even you to do it for them. You could work on, you as in grown-ups. Grown-ups could do it for them. Could work on some letter recognition, because that would be very fun to do. Let's see. All right, we haven't tried my yellow, or now I'm wondering maybe if it's an orange. We'll start my heart with that. Oh, nope, definitely yellow. Neat. So my yellow is a little bit lighter than I would like it. I use the same amount of water with each color. So it's interesting that my yellow turned out to be a little bit lighter than my other ones. Maybe I didn't start with as much watercolor or food coloring as the other ones. Maybe I put more in. Oh, I can see my glue is right there, getting sticky. It did not dry. I would be very interested and happy to see what you all did. Excuse me. So if you want to share your creations with the library, you could share them on our Facebook page, or you could email them to us. I'd be really excited to see what everybody did and how you liked it. If you were like, this is definitely the most boring thing I've ever done, or maybe it's the most fun. I don't know, I had a pretty fun time. This is cool. but everybody has their own likes and dislikes. This is kind of very close to, oops, I'll put some blue down in my rainbow here. Very close to the crystals that we did last month because it kind of looks a little crystal-y. The aesthetic is the same. I bet also that after it completely dries, it might feel similar to the crystals. So that the tactileness would be similar. I think my rainbow is all done. Even put a little bit of yellow in the crevices there. Yeah, I think my rainbow's done. That looks cool. Oops, I did yellow already on my heart too. So on my heart, we're missing red. I'll do a little splash of red. And then some green. We'll do a little splash of green. And this doesn't take very much paint at all. I put the tiniest amount of paint in my little buckets, and I have 90% of it left. So you can use a very little bit. What am I missing from my heart? Oh, there's just room enough for a tiny splash of purple. Oh, I wish I actually would have made my blue less, and I could have done a little bit like a pattern of repeating colors, but in small quantities. That would have been cool. The great thing about this is that now I know what I like, and next time I can do it a little bit different. And not more to what I like, but closer to my artistic vision. I'm gonna finish up my heart with green here. And there you have it. You have to leave them to dry. The salt is gonna stay puffy, so we'll keep that look of kind of the crystal salt snow. And it takes a little bit to dry, so it's not gonna be dry in an hour. You probably need to wait a day, maybe even longer, for it to completely dry. That looks really cool, very fun. Thanks so much for joining me today, friends. I had a fun time, and I cannot wait to see what you all painted and how you liked it. Thanks so much. Have a great day.